With over 92% of the votes counted, both candidates will vie for the presidency of the country in April, with current President Daniel Noboa garnering 44.31% of the votes, followed closely by Luisa González with 43.83% of the votes. In order to be elected to the Ecuadorian presidency in a single round, a candidate must obtain 50% of the votes plus one, or total 40% with a difference of 10 points over the second place. Meanwhile, the president of the National Electoral Council, Diana Atamain, stated at the closing of the polls that the day passed normally and with a projected turnout of more than 83%. In Ecuador, citizens went Sunday to the polls in the first round of the general elections. With over 92% of the votes counted, candidates Luisa González and Daniel Noboa go to a runoff next April 13th. We go live with our special envoy in the country, Jorge Gestoso, for the latest. Welcome, Jorge, from the south.
Luis, it has been technically a tie between the two main candidates in the election, first round of the elections here in Ecuador. 44% practically each of the two candidates, the president candidate Daniel Noboa and the challenger Luisa González from the Correísmo, only half a percentage point, 0.5%, a little bit even less than 0.5% separates Noboa and Luisa González. It's going to be, as you said, a runoff on the 13th of April. It's about 2 months away. Another thing that is very interesting is that now it has been clear that the results, last night's result, has been interpreted as a victory in terms of Luisa González, and in between lines we clearly understand that has been a real defeat for the president candidate Daniel Noboa. Why so? Because President Noboa was already, before the closing of the polls, organizing a statement in a hotel, inviting all his followers to join him, and he was going to be giving a speech. Suddenly, that event has been canceled. He didn't talk at all. He didn't make any press conference, any statement, anything at all. He disappeared, while, on the other hand, the candidate of the opposition, in this case, Luisa González, was talking to the press, was giving a press conference, was mentioning that for her it was a clear victory. Another results from last night's election, the third place was Leonidas Issa, is a candidate of the indigenous movement. The party is Pachacuti. He obtained the 5.6% of the votes. The fourth place was Andrea González with 2.6% of the votes, and 12 out of the 16 candidates that were participating not even reached 1% of the votes. So now Leonidas Issa and Andrea González are going to be courted by the two candidates in order to try to make a sort of agreements or alliances in order to reach the 50% plus one vote. It was also denunciations that done by the president, former president Rafael Correa, that in reality the National Council of Voting, the official organization, NCE, the Council of the Electoral Vote, the national one, Correa is denouncing that is not a completely independent judge in this event. It not was participating in favor of Noboa, so much so that he, in his account in the former Twitter, he mentioned that there are still 6% of the votes that are being questionable that has to be addressed, and he believes that that percentage will put the challenger we're talking about, Luisa González, in the first place going to the runoff. And in that case, we'll put her as the official winner, something that, according to Correa, all the elements that are playing in favor of Daniel Noboa doesn't want to happen. So very interesting. Again, for the challenger, Luisa Gonzalez. Last night, she got a fantastic victory for the president and candidate, Daniel Noboa. Independently, analysts and pundits believe that was a big defeat. We go back to you, Luis.
Thank you, Jorge, for the latest details a day after the polls closed and this Sunday's general elections where millions of Ecuadorians went to exercise their right to vote. Let's continue with the analysis. A day after Sunday's general elections in Ecuador. To that end, we are joined by Maria Fernanda Andrade from Acción Jurídica Popular of Ecuador. Welcome, Maria, to From the South.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure, Maria. Nice to meet you too. How can we analyze Sunday's results? Were there any surprises, any in vote behavior, turnout, or regional breakdowns?
Well, we have been living in Ecuador on a rough political and social environment that takes shape in an electoral process with many news, such as deaths, threats to candidates, raids on their homes, soldiers removing campaign posters of Luisa Gonzalez, police officers surrounding candidates. All of these situations are unprecedented in our country. We have a president of Consejo Nacional Electoral, National Electoral Council, who has remained during 3 governments. All this is integrating a national context of general violence. We have the highest rates of extreme poverty, unemployment, forced migration. So we are having these new experiences here in Ecuador, and all this electoral process has been very irregular.
In your opinion, what issues, Maria, in your opinion, what issues, economy, security, institutional trust, things like that, have dominated voters' priority, and how did they impact the outcome?
Yeah. We have to say that the President of the Republic has not obeyed the Constitution, but not retired from his duties as President. There has been an equal investment of campaign funds. According to a legal demand, Noboa has campaigned and used state funds. It means budget from Ecuadorians. We have to say that the electoral trends of young people in the world in general is a very important phenomenon to take into account. They are the ones who fuel the processes of these raises of fascism. As to the 50% who are voting for the conservative wing, it is necessary to name that choice, and that is called in Ecuador, military and a fascist preference. We are having the worst statistics as poverty and unemployment of our whole history, but some people who voted for ADN, the president's party, read this as a result of Correa's administration, some of them. This segment of people is preferring to accept the worst violence on the streets that than a supposed dictatorship of Correa. In the year 2024, there were 7,000 deaths only in January of this year, there were almost 800 violent deaths. So we think they are switching the dictatorship from one who improves health and poverty to one who sells a speech of liberty and richness that all we know that comes from human exploitation and natural resources. We are having a polarized society, I think, which is the reflect of how the modern world is divided by a neoliberalist illusion in where fascism is taking place in terms of offering security and stability with authoritarianism, but not real peace, education, and community life. I think now we have a work to do. I think the union of left-wing parties is necessary, as well as the social organization.
As Ecuador goes to April's runoff elections, Maria, what do you believe both candidates will do different or not from the first round campaigns?
I think this time there's a bridge between the progressive wing and the social movement, and that bridge is Leonidas Issa, representative of Pachacutic, who is third in the list of candidates. The social movement this time, as in 2019 and 2022, will take advantage of the prominence of the indigenous movement and ISA for the unity of the left. I think this time is the moment of the left wing to get together and to work, to be near to the social needs. That's the important thing. I think it's essential for Luisa Gonzalez to work into capacitations and educations in terms of what is happening really with our real situation, with our rights. And it's important to know that capitalism is the cause for all our society destruction. We are having a narco state now, and we have to think deeply about it. I think from on the other hand, on the other side, maybe Novoa is going to take advantage of the domination into the media, into social media, to captivate the young voters. And I think the speech of security, of liberty is going to win, to take place in general in minds, in people's minds.
As you were referring to other candidates like Leonidas Issa, there were 16 people in total running for this race. How will the 14 others, including Leonidas Issa, impact the runoff? Could their endorsements sway the election?
He has 4 to 6% so far. So we think that this is an important part of people, this important segment of people, progressist people, and people like for the of the left side. So it's important their votes. I think those voters came from the from this idea of the renaissance of the left side of the left wing. So it will be important, above all, that the real leaders, Luisa Gonzalez and Anissa, can get together, can reunite, and work together for their programs, so that we can, as people, as Ecuadorians, can receive, can accept one real left program. I consider it's not too much people. It's 4%, 6% for ISA, but it's very important that all the left parties got to get together, no?
Thank you, Maria, for your time here from the South, for sharing your insights and inputs